Adventure, my dear boy, is calling, Stanley Weyman would say, his eyes twinkling with mischief. He was a man who seemed to have been born for adventure, a figure who thrived on the thrill of the unknown and the excitement of the chase. His life was a tapestry woven with threads of daring escapades and audacious schemes, each more incredible than the last. He wasn't kidding. This wasn't just a whimsical saying for Stanley, it was a lifestyle. From the bustling streets of New York to the serene landscapes of the European countryside, Stanley's adventures took him far and wide. He was a man who could never be tied down, always on the move, always seeking the next big thrill. He lived a life most could only dream of, full of daring escapes, outrageous schemes, and audacious impersonations. Imagine a man who could slip out of the tightest situations with ease, who could concoct the most elaborate plans and execute them flawlessly. That was Stanley Weyman. His life was a series of high-stakes games, each one more dangerous and exhilarating than the last. Stanley wasn't your typical con man. He was a master of disguise, a chameleon who could blend into any environment with ease. He wasn't just about trickery and deceit, he was an artist, a performer who took pride in his craft. His schemes were not just about making money. They were about the thrill of the game, the challenge of outsmarting everyone around him. He was a chameleon, blending into high society with the grace of a seasoned actor. Whether it was a grand ball or an exclusive gathering, Stanley could fit right in. He had a way with people, a charm that was irresistible. He could make anyone believe he was one of them, no matter who they were or where they came from. He could convince you he was a renowned doctor one day and a high-ranking diplomat the next. His ability to switch roles with such ease was nothing short of remarkable. It was as if he had a different persona for every occasion, each one more convincing than the last. He was a master of his craft, a true artist in the world of deception. All with a disarming smile and a twinkle in his eye. It was this charm, this charisma, that made him so successful. People wanted to believe him, wanted to be a part of his world, and he knew exactly how to use that to his advantage. His smile could disarm even the most skeptical of individuals, making them putty in his hands. But it was his time as the supposed State Department liaison to Princess Fatima that truly solidified his place in the history of audacious charlatans. This was no small feat. It was a grand performance that required meticulous planning and flawless execution. He managed to convince not just a few individuals, but an entire nation that he was a legitimate representative of the US government. This wasn't just some petty scam. This was a grand performance on the world stage, culminating in a meeting with the President of the United States. The audacity of it all was staggering. How could one man pull off such an elaborate ruse? It was a testament to Stanley's skill and ingenuity, his ability to think on his feet and adapt to any situation. How did he pull it off? What was the secret to his success? Was it his charm, his intelligence, or something else entirely? These are questions that have puzzled historians and enthusiasts alike. Stanley Weyman remains an enigma, a figure shrouded in mystery and intrigue. His life was a puzzle, each piece more fascinating than the last. Was he just a master manipulator? Or was there something more to the man who called himself Stanley Weyman? Perhaps he was a genius, a man who saw the world differently and used that to his advantage. Or maybe he was just incredibly lucky, always finding himself in the right place at the right time. Whatever the case, his story is one that continues to captivate and inspire. Let's dive into the extraordinary and unbelievable life of this enigmatic figure. Join us as we explore the adventures, the schemes, and the incredible life of Stanley Weyman. From his early days as a small-time con artist to his rise as one of the most notorious charlatans in history, this is a story you won't want to miss. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a journey into the world of adventure and intrigue. Adventure, my dear boy, is calling. Stanley Weyman's early life remains a bit of a mystery. The details of his birth and upbringing are shrouded in ambiguity, with only fragments of stories and whispers to piece together his origins. Some say he was a child of the streets, learning the art of survival from a young age. Others believe he was the son of a wealthy family, rebelling against the constraints of his privileged life. Some say he was born in a small town, yearning for a life beyond its borders. This quaint village, with its narrow streets and old buildings, might have been the backdrop of his early dreams. The simplicity of rural life could never contain his restless spirit. He would often gaze at the horizon, imagining the adventures that lay beyond the familiar confines of his hometown. Others whisper of a privileged upbringing, cast aside for the thrill of the unknown. In this version of his story, Stanley grew up in an opulent estate, surrounded by luxury and comfort. Yet despite the wealth and status, he felt a void, a yearning for something more. The allure of the unknown, the excitement of uncharted territories called out to him, urging him to leave behind the life of predictability and embrace the uncertainties of the world. Wherever he came from, one thing is certain: Stanley craved adventure. He was a man driven by an insatiable curiosity and a desire to explore the world. Whether standing on a cliff overlooking the vast sea or meticulously planning his next move with a map in hand, Stanley's determination was evident. He was not content with a mundane existence. He sought the thrill of new experiences and the challenge of the unknown. His first documented escapade landed him in hot water in Morocco. This exotic land, with its vibrant culture and bustling markets, was the perfect setting for Stanley's debut as a conman. The allure of Morocco's rich history and diverse traditions drew him in, and he saw an opportunity to make his mark. Posing as a wealthy merchant, he charmed his way into the good graces of local traders. With his smooth talk and convincing demeanor, Stanley quickly gained the trust of the merchants. He presented himself as a man of means, someone who could offer them lucrative deals and access to rare commodities. He promised them access to rare spices and exotic goods at unbelievably low prices. The merchants, eager to profit from these seemingly incredible offers, were more than willing to do business with him. Stanley's promises were enticing, and his confidence made it easy for them to believe in his legitimacy. Of course, it was all a ruse. Stanley had no intention of delivering on his promises. Once he had secured their money, he vanished without a trace, leaving the merchants bewildered and betrayed. The realization of the deception dawned on them too late, and they were left to deal with the consequences of their misplaced trust. Stanley vanished with their money, leaving behind a trail of bewildered merchants and a warrant for his arrest. The authorities were soon on his trail, but Stanley had already moved on, leaving behind only the echoes of his audacious scheme. The Moroccan mishap, as it came to be known, was a testament to his cunning and resourcefulness. This early taste of deception only fueled his desire for bigger and bolder schemes. The thrill of outsmarting others, the rush of pulling off a successful con, became an addiction for Stanley. He realized that he had a talent for deception, and he was determined to hone this skill to perfection. It was a sign of things to come, a prelude to the grand illusions he would later weave. Stanley's journey as a con man was just beginning, and he had grand plans for the future. He envisioned elaborate schemes, each more daring and intricate than the last. The world was his stage, and he was ready to play the role of a lifetime. The Moroccan mishap, as it became known, was just the first act in Stanley Weyman's extraordinary life. This initial foray into the world of deception set the tone for his future exploits. It was a learning experience, a stepping stone that would pave the way for even more audacious cons. Little did the world know, this charming rogue was just getting started. Stanley Weyman was a man of many faces, and his journey was far from over. With each new adventure, he would reinvent himself, adapting to new challenges and seizing new opportunities. The world was about to witness the rise of one of the most notorious con men in history, and Stanley was ready to embrace his destiny.